from Kim, and she can fuck all night.
Oh my god. I mean, this shit is crazy. This shit is absolutely crazy. They look terrible in the regular season. Offense could never score, put up points, struggled in the second half all year long. Stupid play calls on 3rd and short. Terrible drop passes turn into pick 6, losing 2 games because of Kadarius Toney. How are they back in the Super Bowl? I'm speechless, bro. That's fucking insane. Woo! Oh, man. Mitch Holt has said it best. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. But you're going to have to deal with the Chiefs. I mean, this is just an unprecedented run that we are seeing right now from the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid era of Kansas City football. It's been living literally as a fan a real-life dream. It really makes you wonder if some days you died and this is your dream that you're living in, because this is not normal. This is stuff that very few people in their lifetimes get to witness. Even making a Super Bowl one time is crazy enough in its own, let alone making 4 in 5 seasons. This is stuff that is just, it's unseen. And yes, the Patriots and Tom Brady did it, but there was a long gap in between for those guys. There hasn't been anything yet for the Chiefs. There's been 1 year. There's been 1 year other than Mahomes' rookie season, or first year as a starter, not technically his rookie season, but first year as a starter, that the Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl. That was 2 years ago against the Bengals. That was the floor for the Chiefs. The floor for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes we have seen is overtime in the conference championship. Losing overtime in the conference championship. That is the floor for the Chiefs. And I'll tell you what, man, as a fan, this is what you dream of. This is stuff that you just, you don't ever forget it. Never. Like I said, making 1, winning 1, ever. That's stuff you never forget. And this is the 4th time in 5 seasons we're seeing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I understand why the football world is against us now. The hate I'm seeing around the league matches the exact energy of the Patriots for all those years. I get it. This is exactly what happens when you're at the peak of the mountain. The Kansas City Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl last year. 2 months later, they host the draft. They bring out the Lombardi trophies on stage to share with the whole world. When the season starts, the world's biggest pop star joins the Chiefs' kingdom and can't get out of the spotlight every week. And if that wasn't enough, the Chiefs limp into the playoffs, having arguably their worst season under Mahomes, losing games, having close games against uncompetitive teams all season long, losing games to teams you shouldn't lose to. They limp into the playoffs, hold the mighty Dolphins offense to 7 points, and go on the road to play a playoff road game for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career. They defeat Josh Allen and the Bills in a frisky atmosphere and go on to their 6th consecutive AFC Championship game. After coming into Baltimore 4.5-point underdogs, they hold the eventual league MVP to 10 points in his own house and move on to the Super Bowl for the 2nd year in a row and 4th time in 5 years. That is being king. That is being at the peak of the mountain. And that is why the world despises the Chiefs. What we are witnessing every single year under Patrick Mahomes is the true definition of greatness. And people envy that. I envied it for years watching Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Nobody could ever bring them down. Every time you had hope that somebody new has emerged and they can dethrone the Kings hold strong. I get it now. I do. And I take back everything I've said over the years about Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Because it was never hate for who they were, it was hate for how good they were. It was spite, it was envy, it was jealousy, whatever word you want to use to describe the feelings you had towards the Tom Brady-led New England Patriots for all those years. That torch has been passed on to the Chiefs. They are now on top, and this is what being on the top is like. And despite all the negativity, all the negative noise you hear that comes out of being on top, holy shit does it feel great. Chiefs fans, you have to take it all in and just cherish and enjoy the greatness every single week. Things are going to get tough in the regular season. They always do. But I've come around to learn that that's just the way the Chiefs are. They really treat the regular season like preseason. They try new things. They figure out formulas, figure out what works. So that way, once they get into the playoffs, all that regular season practice that they showcase every week, even the losses, it makes them the most competitive team in the playoffs. It makes them so hard to beat every single year. This is truly once in a lifetime. And just soak it all in, man. Soak it all in. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, for the second straight year, are going to the Super Bowl. And it feels amazing. I mean, what more can be said about it? It's incredible what we are witnessing. Let's get into this, man. All the talk about Mahomes never having to play a road playoff game, even though technically he's played in three Super Bowls, and he's gone 2-1. But okay, sure, for technical purposes, I guess this is his true first. I guess this postseason brought his first true road playoff games. It's the playoff atmosphere, the away atmosphere. Sure, I get it. You stomp into Orchard Park to face a red-hot Josh Allen-led Bills team. They're hungry. It's their time. They think it's their time. They're ready to kick your ass once and for all. Nope, you win your first ever true road playoff game against the mighty Bills. You go on the road the very next week. You come in as underdogs, heavy underdogs. This was the first time since Mahomes' third career start that he was this big of an underdog. 4.5 point underdogs in week 2 of 2018 against the Steelers. Mahomes threw for 326 yards and 6 touchdowns in what ended up being a blowout win. How do you bet against the Chiefs? How do you do it? I don't get it. At this point, how do you bet against them? Mahomes last year, they get into the playoffs. Mahomes twists his ankle, and it's clearly bothersome throughout the rest of the playoffs. He gets to the Super Bowl. He's limping on it. It gets re-aggravated. He's playing essentially on one leg, and he still puts up 38 points and wins the Super Bowl. How do you bet against the Chiefs? How do you do it? So the Ravens start off with the ball, and the Chiefs' defense comes out strong and holds the Ravens to a 3-and-out to start the game. The Chiefs would get the ball back, and in 10 plays, they would get a touchdown to open the scoring for the game. It was just an insane Mahomes to Kelsey, a classic connection in the end zone. Mahomes, I mean, this play was perfectly defended by the Ravens cornerback. It had to be a perfect ball, and that is exactly what it was. Mahomes just drops in a perfect ball for Kelsey to fall down and catch on in the end zone for the touchdown. The Chiefs are up early, 7-0. The Ravens get the ball back, and they would score fairly quickly in 2 minutes, 43 seconds on 6 plays after Lamar Jackson somehow squeaks out of a sack, should have been sacked, and then Zay Flowers is wide open for the deep touchdown pass. And this was frustrating for the Chiefs because it should have been a sack, but Lamar Jackson, as we all know, is a very slippery quarterback, and he doesn't get brought down easily at all. So he ends up connecting with Zay Flowers in an incredible play to score the touchdown and tie the game up at 7. The Chiefs get the ball back, and boy, did they respond, shaving off 9 minutes off the clock going into the second quarter. And eventually they would get down to the end zone for Isaiah Pacheco on 2nd and goal to run it up the middle and score the second touchdown of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's 14-7. Ravens get the ball back on their 4th play. Charles Omenihu forces the fumble on Lamar Jackson. It's recovered by Karlaftis, and the Chiefs get the ball back. Unfortunately, they wouldn't do anything with it, as they would get an 8-yard gain from Travis Kelce on 3rd and 9, just to have a 4th and 1 at the Baltimore 13. They rushed up to the line of scrimmage to rush a playoff real quick, and they've done this a few times this year, and it's beyond me why they do it. Take a timeout, for God's sake. I have no doubt you can get a yard. You can get the first down. You're the Chiefs. You can definitely do it, but not by rushing the play like that. It's stupid. It aggravates me because they've done this a few times this year where they rush a play. They did it last week against the Bills, which would end up being the McCole Hardman touchback fumble. That was a rushed play. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. They get up to the 1-yard line and they rush these plays. There's no need to rush them when it's 4th down. There's just no need for it. It's so aggravating. And so they rush it on 4th and 1 for Pacheco, and he gets stuffed. And the Baltimore Ravens take over on their own 13, and which would have been an easy 3 points for the Chiefs to go up 2 scores before halftime. And it It was frustrating. It was frustrating because I like the call, but if you're going to rush it, just take the 3. Thankfully, the Ravens wouldn't do anything with that opportunity either, as they would be held to a punt just for the next 2 drives between the Chiefs and the Ravens to be 3 and outs. Defense is coming in strong. The Chiefs get the ball back nearing the end of the first half. On this drive, there were 2 personal foul penalties on the Ravens that would give the Chiefs a free 30 yards. You can bitch all you want about referees and, oh, Kelsey started it. No, he didn't. Van Noy actually started by coming up and headbutting Kelsey. Kelsey just retaliated. So the call was correct. The Ravens who take pride in their bully attitude couldn't stay composed, they couldn't stay disciplined, and they got punished for it. That's what happened. Bitch about the refs all you want, but that's exactly what happened. And the second one would be roughing the passer, which you can bitch and moan about roughing the passer calls all you want. This was textbook. It was a late hit. It was helmet to helmet. It wasn't even questionable. This was a blatant roughing the passer. So why people complain about it, it's beyond me. The real bad call on this drive would come on 3rd and 14 for the Baltimore 33 with 20 seconds left in the half. The Chiefs ran a screen to Rashee Rice, who would take it down and score the touchdown, only for it to be nullified by a pretty weak offensive holding penalty on Trey Smith on the O-line. So everybody wants to complain about the refs helping the Chiefs out, but this certainly was the opposite of that. The Chiefs settled for a 52-yard field goal, both teams shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, one being questionable on the Chiefs, and they go into halftime. The second half would be an absolute slugfest, as the first 2 drives between the Chiefs and the Ravens would be 3 and outs. The Chiefs get the ball back, run 8 plays. They would eventually punt. The Ravens get the ball back, 7 plays. They would punt. The Chiefs get the ball. It's 3 and out. The Ravens get the ball. This was an interesting drive because the first play of it, at the Baltimore 36, Lamar Jackson would throw a deep bomb to Zay Flowers for 54 yards. He would get up, stand over L'Jarius Sneed, throw the ball at his face, and talk shit. He gets flagged for taunting. Yeah, no shit you're going to get flagged for taunting. The NFL warns you in the preseason that they're not going to tolerate this. They're not going to tolerate standing above people's heads and throwing shit at them. They're not going to do it. So if you want to bitch about the refs, please be my guest. But you can't deny that this is literally in the rule book, that you can't do this. This is going to be called taunting. So you could call it the National or the No Fun League, or you could call it soft, whatever you want. It's in the rule book, and you have to play just as the rule book says you have to play. Again, you want to bitch about the refs, go ahead. But they are not the reason you lost this game. So after Zay Flowers gets this taunting penalty, 15-yard penalty, by the way, he would get a second chance as Lamar Jackson on 2nd and 8 at the Kansas City 9 would throw a short pass to Zay Flowers, who would lunge for the end zone at the 1-yard line for L'Jarius Sneed to get his karma moment and punch the ball out at the 1-yard line as Zay Flowers is lunging for the end zone, forcing the touchback fumble, and the Chiefs recover in the end zone, recovered by McDuffie. The Chiefs get the ball back. And this was a pivotal moment in this game because it would have made it a 3-point game, and it would have been a lot closer towards the end had this not happened, because the Chiefs' offense in the entire second half had stalled, and this moment was desperate for the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense had been dominant all game, but as we see all the time from dominant defenses, once you get to the fourth quarter, they start letting up a little bit because they're just simply out of breath. The Chiefs wouldn't do anything with that opportunity other than shave 4 minutes off the clock with handoffs. They end up punting. The Ravens get the ball, and they have a true opportunity to make it a close game. They have 10 minutes and 35 seconds left to go downfield and do something. They would almost do something. At 2nd and 10 at the Kansas City 25, Lamar Jackson would panic and make a stupid mistake. And this is what I said in my live stream with Casey leading up to this game last week was, for the Chiefs to beat the Ravens, you have to contain Lamar Jackson. You can't let him scramble. You have to force him to throw the ball and be a quarterback. And that's what the Chiefs defense did. They forced him to throw the ball, and he made several mistakes. There were a handful of overthrows, including this stupid pass on 2nd and 10 at the 25 into triple coverage. Lamar Jackson throws it not into double coverage, but to triple coverage. I mean, this is stuff that I do in Madden, right? This is stuff that the average person knows not to do, and Lamar Jackson did it. I mean, it's just, you could tell he got flustered. He panicked. and he threw a stupid pass and it turned into an interception for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs would piss me off because there's 6 minutes left. You're up 2 scores. Start getting aggressive with it. Start throwing more. You've been good with the whole first half. You were throwing all over the Ravens defense, and you were doing phenomenal. And this whole second half, it was conservative clock shaving plays. Let's just hand off, and it didn't work for the Chiefs. They would get time shaved off, but not enough of it. They go 3 and out after the triple coverage interception. The Ravens, with that opportunity, they would get a field goal. They would go down the field, 9 plays, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. It was weird to me because they didn't seem like, this whole drive, the Ravens didn't seem, they just seemed like they had already conceded the game. It was really weird because every single play, they would get up and take their time getting back to the line of scrimmage. There was no panic from them at all. There was no, we got to get up and score. There was none of that. They just seemed like they had already conceded the game. It was really weird. I think it was a gut punch for the ego of the offense because they are known to just put up insane amounts of points on good teams. Blowing out the Dolphins, blowing out the 49ers, and then they play the Chiefs. They're held to 7 points nearing the end of the game. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a gut punch. I think they were conceding a little bit. I mean, they looked like they had given up. They would get Justin Tucker to get the 43-yard field goal to make it a 1-score game, and the Chiefs made it very stressful, as they always do, but they know how to do just enough to win. And so what would happen was they would get down to their own 46. They would have a 3rd and 9. And if they don't convert this, the Baltimore Ravens have a very legit chance of tying this game and sending it into overtime. And Patrick Mahomes, on 3rd and 9, in his own territory, getting rushed, getting blitzed, not having much time to get rid of the ball, drops a beautiful, perfect dime 32 yards down the field to none other than, let me get this right. Let me check my notes. Not Travis Kelce. Not Rashee Rice. Not Isaiah Pacheco. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. A guy who had cost the team the game against the Eagles earlier this year. A guy who had blamed Mahomes for dropping his own passes because they weren't 6 inches more perfect into his chest. A guy that has not taken any accountability for drops or bad route running all year long. A guy who Chiefs fans, including myself, had given up on about midway through the season. Marquez Valdes-Scantling catches the deep bomb on 3rd and 9 to ice the game. What a roller coaster of emotions. Insanity. And that would do it. The Chiefs win their 4th AFC Championship game in 5 seasons to go on to their 2nd straight Super Bowl, where they will face the San Francisco 49ers in a rematch of 4 years ago, 2020. Different quarterback, different team this time. And it's going to be fun to talk about. I highly suggest tuning in to me and Casey's live stream. We're going to run that up next week. Casey's a big 49er fan. It's going to be fun. You won't want to miss it. Yeah, this is just, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. I said from the beginning, for the Chiefs to win this game, it's going to be defense, and it's going to be containing Lamar and forcing him to be a quarterback. And he made mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes. A handful of overthrows, a fumble, and a terrible interception thrown into triple coverage. The moment got to him, and he panicked. That was the bottom line, is the Chiefs defense won this game. This Chiefs defense is the reason why the Chiefs are so damn good this year. Because it's no secret that the offense has taken a step back. No secret. But the defense has been so damn dominant that they're winning games on their own. And so, that's it, man. The Chiefs move on to Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, it never gets old. It never does. I'm just going to flat out say this. You can hate us out of spite, out of envy, out of jealousy. You can do it. I understand. But all this shit I'm seeing online is insanity. The refs. Oh my God, the refs. They were paid off. It's rigged. If it's rigged, stop watching it. How about that? The refs, it's rigged. They just want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. Maybe quit obsessing over one person. How about that? Maybe just don't watch it. Maybe just don't watch the Super Bowl if it bothers you that bad. Maybe just don't watch football if you claim every single Chiefs game that the refs rig it for us and that the refs favor us and that Vegas wants us to win. Just stop watching football if that's the case. Instead of denying the obvious fact in front of your own very eyes that Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback this league has ever seen and that you don't ever bet against him, I don't know what to tell you. But please please continue with your narrative that the refs help us every week. And even though they took a touchdown off the board for the Chiefs in this game because of a very weak holding call, let's go ahead and blame the refs. Yeah, and let's go ahead and blame the refs last week for Sean McDermott running a fake punt to Damar Hamlin that would fail miserably. Let's go ahead and blame the refs for the cold weather that would give the Chiefs the clear advantage against Miami in the wild card round, right? That's the only reason we lost to Miami, right? Is because of the cold weather. Yeah, let's blame the refs for that too. Let's not talk about how you can make an argument for almost every single regular season game this year that the refs have negatively impacted the Chiefs. But no, let's keep that narrative alive, right? Let's keep that narrative alive that the NFL just wants to see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. The NFL just wants Patrick Mahomes to catch Brady. The refs rig it for us. The refs favor us. It's all bogus hocus pocus, dude. And I strongly suggest, if it bothers you that much, you shut the fuck up and stop watching it. That's my advice to you. But in the meantime, I'm going to cherish, as a fan, every single second of this success, because like I said in the beginning, this is truly once in a fucking lifetime, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I'll see you in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, baby. The Chiefs are back in it. Let's fucking go. It's unreal. It's unreal. See you guys then. Peace out.